This video is developed by the Yukon Tab team to help you identify brownfield sites in your community. We will be covering the major characteristics of brownfield sites according to EPA's definition. The information provided can be further used to develop brownfield inventories, identify eligible sites for EPA extended funding, and prioritize sites for redevelopment. Under EPA's definition, a brownfield site is a real property, the expansion, redevelopment, or use of which may be complicated by the presence or potential presence of a hazardous substance, pollutant, or contaminant. But how does this translate to actually identifying sites in your community? We'll explore this in the next couple of slides. We can start by looking into abandoned properties or properties not in use, since those are the #1 candidates for brownfield sites. In many cases, you will see a building in a very bad condition, broken windows, or even unsafe and dilapidated structures. These properties should be the first in your list of identifying brownfield sites. However, we're not exclusively looking at abandoned properties. Underutilized properties or properties partially in use can fit under the definition of a brownfield site. For example, part of a site can be in use, and you may see sites where tenants are renting part of the property, or it could even be an underutilized and empty lot. Besides identifying properties that are abandoned or underutilized, the key concept to identify a brownfield is the presence or potential presence of contamination. So a property that is abandoned or underutilized is considered a brownfield only when there is some perception of contamination, which is typically associated with a previous site use, either industrial or a commercial activity. For example, in the former gas station that you see in the left side of your screen, we could suspect potential presence of petroleum due to previous handling of gasoline. Another example is old buildings or buildings that were built before the 1960s, as you see in the right photograph of the slide, where hazardous building materials could be present, such as asbestos, lead paint, or polychlorinated biphenyls. So one would ask, how about abandoned or underutilized residences? Are those considered brownfields? So residential properties are not usually brownfields since the previous site uses do not usually have activities associated with contamination. So we should look into former industrial and commercial properties when searching for brownfield sites. Another common issue in brownfield sites is tax delinquency. In many cases, the owner of the site has abandoned the property and do not want to pay taxes. So in this case, the municipality can transfer the tax liens and foreclose on the property. So we often use outstanding taxes as an indicator to identify properties as brownfield sites. So a search of tax delinquent industrial and commercial properties can provide an initial list of properties where you can start investigating to see if they fit under the brownfields definition. Active facilities are not considered brownfields, even if we suspect there is presence of contamination there due to the activities at the site. So when there is a liable party for the contamination, there is an owner of the site that is liable for the contamination generated there. They are responsible for cleaning up the site. Hence, we usually refer to those properties as potentially contaminated properties and not brownfield sites. Sites that are included in the National Priority List or Superfund sites, or facilities subject to administrative orders or judicial consent decrees under CERCLA, or facilities that are subject to the jurisdiction, custody, or control of the U.S. government do not fit under the definition of brownfield site. Another type of sites that are eligible to receive EPA brownfields funds are mine-scare lands, including abandoned coal mine areas or other type of hard rock mine areas could be considered for EPA funding.